was Tuesday, the 12th of January 1960, and the state of emergency, which had begun nearly a decade earlier, had just ended, when the guns fell silent after one of the British arguably most devastating counterinsurgency campaigns in colonial Africa. When it became crystal clear that the raging wave of African nationalism was unstoppable and the journey to independence inevitable, as the colonial government paved way for the 1961 general election to actualize resolutions of the First Lancaster House Conference that included elections to the expanded Legislative Council LegCo. It was in this cusp of history that a bright, disciplined and visionary school teacher, the first ever African Kenyan to be a schoolmaster in Britain, and also one of the first two individuals from Ukambani to acquire a university degree, was thrust into the limelight. That man was Fredrick Gideon Mati, elected as Kitui North's representative to the LegCo, kickstarting what would be a lengthy and illustrious legislative career that years later saw him become independent Kenya's first ever and longest serving parliamentary speaker of African origin. Prior to election as Speaker, Honorable Mati had served as a member of the LegCo between 1961 and 1963. And at independence in 1963, retained his Kitui North parliamentary seat on the Kenya African Democratic Union KADU ticket in the House of Representatives, and later the National Assembly post-1966, when Kenya reverted to a unicameral parliamentary system, a seat he held until 1970, when he became Speaker. The vacancy in the House speakership had arisen following the exit of the first post-independence Speaker, the Honorable Sir Humphrey Slade, who had just retired from public service after an illustrious 10-year stint on the coveted seat, dating back to 1960 when he was first appointed as LegCo Speaker. According to the Hansard, the House convened for the first session of the Second Parliament on Friday, the 6th of February 1970 at 9 a.m. Among the business lined up for the day was the election of Speaker. And after the arrival of the President, His Excellency Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, and taking his front seat in the House as the Member of Parliament for Gatondo, the clerk then, Mr. Leonard James Ngugi, opened the proceedings with the parliamentary prayer. After the order for election of Speaker was read, the clerk explained to the House the procedure for the exercise pursuant to the law at the time. He announced that he had only received the nomination of Honorable Fredrick Gideon Mati and accordingly declared him elected as Speaker. The Hansard further documents that upon Mati's arrival, all the honorable members arose as he was escorted to the chair by the leader of government business in the House, then Vice President Daniel Arap Moi, and the then Bondo MP, Honorable William Odongo Omamo, who at the time also served as the Minister for Natural Resources. The clerk then administered the oath of allegiance to the Speaker-elect, who then took the chair as the mace, which until then lay under the table, was placed upon the table to symbolize his occupancy of the Speaker's chair. And from the word go, Honorable Mati was clear and articulate about his modus operandi as Speaker. In his maiden speech as Speaker, Honorable Mati told the House that he endeavored to serve faithfully and to the best of his abilities, and to maintain the high standards and traditions that had been already established. He added, and I quote, "I must remind the House that my foremost duty as your Speaker will be to enforce strict compliance with the rules of this House that are indeed made by this House." End of quote. He went on to pay tribute to his predecessor, the Honorable Sir Humphrey Slade, to whom he said the House owed so much gratitude for having so ably established the traditions and respect of the House. Honorable Mati went on to serve as Speaker for a record 18 years until the year 1988. During his illustrious service, Speaker Mati was revered for mastery of wit and strategy during Kenya's arguably most politically decisive years. During the pre-independence period, for instance, Mati was among the African delegates representing the Kenya African Democratic Union KADU at the Lancaster House conferences. And although he was not among the principal independence negotiators, whose speeches dominated press coverage at the time, Mati capitalized on his knowledge of parliamentary procedure, constitutional issues, and consensus building, rather than charismatic public campaigning. These attributes proved critical during his tenure as Speaker, as Kenya navigated extremely delicate political phases. Among these was in the aftermath of the fallouts at the top hierarchy of government between founding President Mzee Jomo Kenyatta and first Vice President Jaramogi Oginga Odinga that not only escalated political tensions but also birthed a powerful backbench opposition in the House. In later years, Speaker Mati also had to steer Parliament through the intricate phase of the tough political posturings that dominated the years leading up to the first presidential transition in 1978, after the death of President Kenyatta.
Mimi Daniel Arap Moi
Was succeeded by then Vice President Daniel Arap Moi. Speaker Mati continued serving as Speaker as Kenya reverted to one-party rule on the 9th of June 1982 and subsequently steered the House through the political turmoil following the attempted military coup later that year on the 1st of August 1982. He vacated the Speaker's seat in 1988 and was succeeded by his one-time deputy, the Honorable Kiprono Arap Keino.